So this week on Muslim Public Figures for the Muslim Observer, I am having Shaisti Kazmi from Apna Ghar join us and Nada Al-Hanoudi, who just won the primaries for the state of Dearborn. Let's take a look.
My name is Shaisti Kazmi, and I am the owner of Apna Ghar Senior Care Agency in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Apna Ghar is the first senior care agency to serve the needs of the elderly Southeast Asian community, in particular those from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. We felt that local senior care agencies were not able to meet the demands of the elderly Southeast Asian population, mostly because of personal reasons. My mother-in-law came to live with me from Pakistan about 10 years ago, and at the same time my father became quite ill. So in order to kind of meet the demands of both households and in order to help, because my kids at the time were pretty small, pretty young, and I was working at the time. My husband was like, why don't you contact local senior care companies and see if they can help me, because my mother-in-law was diabetic and has mild spinal stenosis. And so we contacted local senior companies, and not to say anything against them, they did a great job. They really tried. They tried extremely hard to get along with her, to kind of empathize with her, to do whatever she asked, but communication was such an issue. And in my parents' home, although the language wasn't a problem, because my parents, like your parents, immigrated here in like 1960, 1970, so English was never a problem. What the issue was, a cultural things. When my mother was praying, the caregiver would come and ask her, would not understand that she's praying, or if they touch something that they should not be touching. My mother would get irritated. So what I thought I would do is in 2014, I quit my job, and in July 2014, I started this company, Apna Ghar, to serve the needs of the elderly Southeast Asian community. So we opened our first branch here in Michigan. Our second one is in Atlanta, Georgia, and our third one just opened up in New Jersey. It's continually growing. It's growing organically. We, serve not only this, Southeast Asian community here in southeastern Michigan, but we're also have clients out in Ann Arbor, Lansing, Jackson. So it's mostly word of mouth. We've done very little advertising. It's been mostly clients telling clients, hey, there's somebody out there who's doing this. We've gotten even a request out in Las Vegas for a caregiver for somebody who's about to have twins, and they wanted a Muslim caregiver, and she heard from somebody at a wedding in California that there's this lady out in Michigan who started this company. Why don't you try contacting her? And that's how we ended up getting that client. One of the things that we've encountered while starting the senior care company is that there is a lot of stigma attached with certain type of illnesses, Alzheimer's dementia being one of them. And it seems that more Southeast Asians are recognizing and understanding that there is it's just not old age, it's actually a disease, and it's Alzheimer's dementia. One of our clients, who is Indian, who lives more on the west side of town, she was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's unfortunate because she's about 50 plus. And her husband was the primary caregiver. This woman was not engaging with any caregivers. The husband, it was weighing a big toll on him. And he reached out to us to find him a caregiver that could speak Gujarati. And we luckily had a caregiver who was trained, because we do work with Alzheimer's Association. So our caregivers are trained in Alzheimer's dementia training. And she was able to go into the home and engage with the client. And what she did was she made pulkas, rotis. And the client came out of the bedroom and actually had lunch at the kitchen table, which she had not been using for the last 3 years. Because she smelled the pulkas, it reminded her of her childhood, and she recognized that immediately, and she came out. And then she started engaging with the caregiver. So now, the caregiver will make her favorite foods, they'll go on walks together, and it again is just a familiarity of, what she can recognize somebody who looks like her, who talks like her, has helped her tremendously. So we took a lot of, we took a lot of happiness in that we were able to provide her with a good caregiver and somebody who she could engage with. So what we've done is we've done twofold with our caregiving, kind of recruitment. One of the aspects of this company when I started this company was that not only did we want to help the elderly, but we also wanted to help women in the community who are unfortunate victims of domestic violence, whether that be verbal, financial, or physical abuse. And what we wanted to do was to train them for free as home health aides or nursing assistants. And what we were lucky was local schools in the community were very excited to do this. So of course we're training them for free, these women who have been victims of domestic violence. And what we do is we give them a type of economic platform, financial platform, where we can train them. We'll train them, and the training's only 2 weeks. And then they can at least get a certificate. They can feel good about something that they're doing, and then they can work for us for 2 to 3 years. We don't hold that always because, nursing homes and other places, they're able to get higher paying jobs, but this is a good economic platform for them. And they're able to work for in a good field, a field where, you're helping others. And then they can feel good about themselves and start gaining some type of, financial platform that can make them feel good about themselves. The other way we've recruited, of course, is into the general population, asking for those women who would like to, work as a CNA home health aides. A lot of the girls, especially those who are from India, Pakistan, those who are born and raised here are in the physician assistant program. They are in nursing programs. They're wanting to go to medical school. So they require a certain number of hours that they need to have patient contact. This has been an excellent program for them as well. And, as I said, we are willing to pay for the class. So, women can come in, take the classes for free with schools that we have contracts with, and then they can get themselves a degree, a certificate that they can use later on. I always felt that there was something that, our community in general did not want to recognize was domestic abuse. And whether it was recognized or not, even though they build these transitional homes, they've built these houses where they can seek refuge, I felt like they didn't provide them a skill. So fine, you've provided them with housing, but how are you going to, get them out into the workforce, get them into this environment where they need to be working and doing something? Because the thing is what we don't understand about domestic violence is that the psychological toll that it takes on the person is far greater than we can imagine. So when I came into this, I was like, yes, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to get them trained and they're going to be out there working and it's going to be great. Well, no, a lot of them, it took a long time to get them prepared, get them out of the mental, literally a cycle of breaking out of the psychological cycle of this, telling them that, they can do it, they need to do it. And it's just like that proverb, if you get them a fish, they'll eat for a day, but if you teach them fishing, they can eat for a lifetime. So it's kind of something along those lines where if we can help them, get financial freedom, I think they can, get into society and do a whole lot more, with it. And then what got me involved was that I always wanted to do something that could better both ends of the community. Those, of course, who are elderly and those who are younger. So one of the things was initially when we first started the company, there were people who would inquire about services. Then they'd be like, no, my kids will do it. The cultural stigma attached to it was, well, my children will do it. Oh, they'll do it. Some, of course, were like, listen, my kids are not doing it because they're not even in the state. So that was never a question. But that cultural stigma where my children, the first generation are the primary caregivers, unfortunately is still resonating within the community. But with that being said, knowing that the challenges are ahead, they seem to be more inclined for our services. Some communities are more inclined than others. I think it just depends on the age and the fact that they have been able to see that they need these services. The other hardship, of course, is recruitment of the caregivers, because a lot of these women don't know how to drive. A lot of these women are like, well, what do you mean I have to go into somebody's home? Another one is like, well, I'm not a housekeeper, like a knocker type of mentality. So we've had to overcome a lot of challenges. But in 3 years, we've grown from a company of having like, 2 caregivers to having over 40. And we've had 100% caregiving retention. I think that has a lot, true testament to the Apna Ghar model. And I think, going forward, that's what we, want to keep encouraging, is having good caregivers who can provide, loving and caring help and support to the elderly. So in Georgia, we started out in about 2015. Girl had heard me speak at the AMC, which was the American Muslim Consumers Consortium, which they had kind of like a Shark Tank thing going on, and I had applied to it. I was one of the 6 finalists. And we were not a technical company. I think they just really liked the idea of the company, so that I came and spoke about it. Somebody heard me speak over there, told this girl out in Georgia about the company, and because she was very involved within the community, she's involved with helping the community, helping hands out in the community. She really wanted some type of community involvement out in Georgia. The growth there has been slow, but I think the community has embraced it. And what I think is great is that it continually grows. And there's I think the girl out there, Shamaila Khan, is very instrumental of, recruitment, of marketing, and just having a good rapport with her clients. She's very involved in the community. She has a great reputation, very respectful. So that has been perfect. As for our New Jersey office, there's a lot of Desis, Southeast Asian community out in New Jersey. So we knew that we would definitely want to have a branch out there. Luckily, I was able to find somebody who could, direct the branch out in New Jersey. And, we've been doing great. I mean, in the last, we started out there in June. June 2nd was when we got our license. And since then we have, we get new clients every day. So we're just continuing to grow. And a lot of it just has to do with the love and support of the community. We'll be planning on franchising this company, so we'll be having opportunities where people will be able to purchase one. They'll be able to independently own and operate the company. And one of the first places where, of course, we want to start franchising is out in Houston, Chicago, in Illinois, and Dallas, Austin. So Texas and Chicago, Illinois is where we're planning on opening next, depending on the interest of the other community members and where they want us to come out. We'll definitely be looking into those options.
Of course. Is there anything you'd like to add about Apna Ghar?
No, I mean, as I said, Apna Ghar, is a senior care company that serves the needs of the elderly Southeast Asian community. But with that being said, because of the city that I'm operating out of, which is West Bloomfield, we have a very large Jewish community, and they have been particularly involved in the growth of the company as well. We are a preferred home care provider for Dantos, which is a nursing home, which is on Maple and Drake. Are a preferred home care provider of West Bloomfield Convalescent Nursing Home. So, because of our reputation, because of the reputation of the caregivers, that is the only reason why we've been able to take on other elderly ethnic minorities. And that's what we hope this company becomes a, face of, elderly ethnic minorities, where we can, help, kind of fill the gap of these, elderly ethnic minority health disparities, where they're able to get the proper care that they do deserve, and we can serve the community, something that, my dad always taught me, to serve the community. You can go to our website, www.apnagharhomecare.com. We also have a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. at Info Ghar, I think is our name. Phone number to reach us at is 248-325-9028. And you can always contact us on our email, info@apnagharhomecare.com.